सो एलर्जी को ठीक भी किया जा सकता है और बचाया भी जा सकता है।
बिल्कुल, urbanization has a very major role to play in the sudden rise of allergies we are seeing these days. We know there's skin allergy, we know there is food allergy, there's drug allergy, respiratory allergies. We maintain our skin barrier, and if we prevent exposure, we will prevent the child from having future allergies. We have a theory for this which is known as a hygiene hypothesis, which says that the cleaner you stay, the more likely are you to be allergic. Wheat allergy in India is one thing I would say is common.
What about sunlight exposure? Does sunlight exposure alters your immunity pathway or alters your allergy predisposition?
So we have a very, very common allergen which is known as housed dust mite.
आपका स्वागत करता हूँ आज के एपिसोड में। टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट एलर्जीज़। एलर्जी एक ऐसा विषय है जिससे हर आदमी कभी ना कभी अपने जीवन में अफेक्टेड होता है, उससे प्रभावित होता है। तो ये एक ऐसा इंटरेस्टिंग विषय है और इसके बारे में बात करने के लिए मेरे साथ हैं डॉक्टर प्रियांशी गुप्ता। वेलकम टू द शो डॉक्टर प्रियांशी।
Thank you, Dr. Anupam.
सो शी इज़ एन असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर एट महात्मा गांधी यूनिवर्सिटी जयपुर। मैम असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हैं महात्मा गांधी यूनिवर्सिटी जयपुर में ENT डिपार्टमेंट में। और आज हम जानेंगे एलर्जी और उससे जुड़े विषयों के बारे में मैम से। तो सबसे पहले कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक्स पूछता हूँ मैम आपसे, तो बताइएगा कि एलर्जीज़ का जो प्रॉब्लम है, एलर्जीज़ के जो इश्यूज़ हैं रिसेंटली बढ़ने लगे हैं। आर दे ऑन द राइज?
So, Dr. Anupam, definitely they're on a rise. Initially, allergy was considered as a developed country problem, that the first world people tend to have allergies. But the data and the studies have shown that the allergies are on a rise.
Very nice. So can they be cured?
Yes, of course they can be cured.
And can they be prevented?
Yes, they can be prevented.
So एलर्जी को ठीक भी किया जा सकता है और बचाया भी जा सकता है।
बिल्कुल, with timely intervention both is possible.
And is modern living responsible for allergies?
Definitely it is. Urbanization has a very major role to play in the sudden rise of allergies we are seeing these days.
Very nice. And can allergies be inherited from parents? हमारे पेरेंट्स को अगर एलर्जीज है तो क्या हमें भी होने की संभावना ज़्यादा हो जाती है?
There is a tendency, if your one parent has any form of allergy, then you have about 50% chance of getting an allergy. And if both your parents are allergic, then you have almost 66% chance of getting an allergy.
Okay.
But even if none of your parents are allergic, you have a 20% chance of having allergy on your own.
20%, that's
Yes.
quite a number.
Yes.
So हर किसी को 20% रिस्क है एलर्जी होने का
Yes.
during some phase of their life, right?
Yes. Yes.
So let's start off then. अब थोड़ा सा डिटेल में इस विषय को समझते हैं। तो what is allergy? क्या है एलर्जी?
Allergy, if I talk in very simple language, is nothing but how your body reacts to any substance that is basically harmless to most of the people. So it is an immune reaction, and we all know that an immune reaction to any substance which is harmless otherwise is an allergy.
So body like beeping alarms to a supposed thief when the thief is not really there. So your body's you can say check systems or security systems going overboard unnecessarily. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
So what are the different forms of allergy that we see?
So we know there's skin allergy, we know there is food allergy, there's drug allergy, there's respiratory allergies, like in the nose you can have allergic rhinitis,
Yes.
in the chest you can have asthma, then we know there is latex allergy, food allergy. So there
Okay.
are various forms of allergies which are available, but allergy per se is a systemic disease.
ओके सो एलर्जी के बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरीके हैं जिनसे वो मैनिफेस्ट हो सकती है और लोगों को किसी भी चीज़ से जिससे वो एक्सपोज होते हों, या तो वो इनहेलेंट फॉर्म में नाक के थ्रू या फेफड़ों के थ्रू या कुछ भी खाने के रूप में फूड अगर वो लेते हैं कुछ भी खाने का, तो उससे भी एलर्जिक हो सकते हैं। यू आर सेइंग
Absolutely.
स्किन एलर्जीज भी कॉमन है।
Yes.
तो एलर्जी डेवलपमेंट का कोई पर्टिकुलर सीक्वेंस है, जैसे कि ऐसा कुछ है कि कोई पर्टिकुलर रेस्पिरेटरी एलर्जी इंसान की फेज़ में उसकी लाइफ में पहले आती है या फूड एलर्जी उसकी लाइफ में पहले आती
So
है?
very interesting question, Dr. Anupam. Allergy by theory has a fact which is known as atopic march.
ओके
उस एटोपिक मार्च को हम ऐसे समझा सकते हैं दैट एलर्जी ग्रोज प्रोग्रेसिवली. इट स्टार्ट्स विद स्किन, जिस बीमारी को हम कहते हैं एटोपिक डर्मेटाइटिस.
ठीक है.
सो योर स्किन मेक्स योर इंटायर बॉडी सेंसिटाइज्ड टू एनी प्रोडक्ट यू कैन हैव एन एलर्जी. Eventually the child will have food allergy, and then from food allergy they will progress to having respiratory allergies, be it asthma, and eventually allergic rhinitis.
ओके
So this is how the progression of allergy is. So basically how your genetic environment reacts with the environment around you helps you in developing the allergies you will have.
ओके
So what happens is if a child has a skin problem, let's say atopic dermatitis, the barrier defect is there. Once there's a barrier defect, your skin becomes sensitized. So your immune system becomes sensitized. So by sensitization, I mean that allergy is when you start having symptoms.
Okay.
Let's say if it's a respiratory allergy, so if you are sneezing, if you are itching, if there's watery discharge, if your nose is blocked, so that is the clinical manifestations, which is allergic rhinitis. But does it also have to start with it being first allergy? No. First you have to be sensitized. That means your body has a tendency of having allergy later clinically.
ओके सो सेंसिटाइजेशन पहले आएगी
Yes.
और उसके बाद जब आप उस चीज़ से एक्सपोज होंगे, आप उस चीज़ के कांटेक्ट में जाएंगे, तब आप उस चीज़ को एलर्जी डेवलप करेंगे.
Correct.
तो सेंसिटाइजेशन मतलब किसी चीज़ के प्रति बहुत सेंसिटिव हो जाना.
So your immune system, the immune system becomes primed. That is the exposure happened. आपका immune system उसको fight करने के लिए ready है.
जी.
So the moment you get an insult, they go all out. And that going all out becomes an allergic reaction.
ठीक है. तो इम्यून सिस्टम की ट्रेनिंग गलत जगह हो जाती है और जैसे ही वो किसी हार्मलेस सब्सटेंस को देखते हैं या फॉरेन बॉडी को देखते हैं तो वो इतना ज़्यादा रिएक्ट करते हैं जितनी उनको ज़रूरत नहीं है.
In fact, harmless substances usually you might not react to them at all
जी.
because your immune system will think this is normal.
जी.
But if my immune system tends to react in a way that this is probably a potential threat,
जी.
they will start having a response. So
Okay.
that response is allergy.
ओके सो जो आपने बताया एक सीक्वेंस होती है, पहले स्किन एलर्जी आएगी, एटोपिक डर्मेटाइटिस, फिर फूड एलर्जी, फिर एस्मा और फिर लास्ट में जाके
Allergic rhinitis.
एलर्जिक राइनाइटिस आती है. तो ये जो सीक्वेंस है, क्या हर एलर्जी का पेशेंट यही सीक्वेंस फॉलो करता है या कैन देयर बी अ वेरिएशन? कुछ पेशेंट्स में दूसरे तरीके से भी ये मार्च हो सकती है. कोई पेशेंट ऐसा भी है जिसको नाक की एलर्जी बिना स्किन एलर्जी हुए हो सकती है?
Definitely, that is possible. So atopic march एक theory है which says that once it starts, it will go like that.
जी.
But ऐसा नहीं है that every child or every adult will have to
So it's
follow
not
this
absolute.
particular path. No,
it's not absolute.
No, no.
It's just a thing that most of the people follow.
Yes.
ओके सो एटोपिक मार्च को रोकने का कोई तरीका? जैसे मान लीजिए मैं आज एक पेरेंट हूँ, मेरी भी एक 2.5 साल की बेटी है, अगर उसको स्किन एलर्जीज़ हैं तो मैं क्या उसको आगे जाके अस्थमा, दमा और नाक की एलर्जी, एलर्जिक राइनाइटिस होने से बचा सकता हूँ? कोई
बिल्कुल,
तरीका है?
एब्सोल्युटली. सो स्किन एलर्जी जैसे कि मैंने आपको बताया, इट्स बिकॉज जो बैरियर डिफेक्ट है स्किन का, उससे हम सेंसिटाइज्ड हो जाते हैं व्हेन वी कम इन कांटेक्ट विद एनी अदर एलर्जन.
Okay.
सो इफ वी मेंटेन आवर स्किन बैरियर and if we prevent exposure, we will prevent the child from having future allergies.
Okay.
And once a child is sensitized and if we detect early, we can prevent re-exposure to the same problem.
Okay.
So that is one way we can have preventive measures that the child does not progress on having further respiratory allergies.
तो डॉक्टर प्रियांशी, क्या ये सच है कि मॉडर्न सिविलाइजेशन में, अर्बन पॉपुलेशन में एलर्जीज़ आर ऑन द राइज? एलर्जीज़ का प्रेवलेंस बढ़ गया है और ये जो पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम है ये हम ज़्यादा देखने लगे हैं?
Yes, that is true, Dr. Anupam, and it is more common in urban situations. So we have a theory for this which is known as a hygiene hypothesis, which says that the cleaner you stay, the more likely are you to be allergic.
Okay.
That's because in pediatric populations, जब हम छोटे होते हैं हमारा इम्यून सिस्टम फ्लेक्सिबल होता है,
जी.
बहुत फ्रेजाइल होता है.
जी.
हम जैसे ट्रेन करते हैं, दे टेंड टू ट्रेन लाइक दैट.
आई थिंक ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्ट है, स्पेशली कंसिडरिंग द ओवर सैनिटाइज्ड माइंडसेट दैट द पेरेंट्स ऑफ today's generation have.
Absolutely.
They don't allow their children to play in the dirt. They don't allow their children to touch anything and have very strict norms and standards of hygiene.
So exactly.
Which actually I think is a problem in the long run, because the children don't have any immunity, you can say mock drills, which are so necessary to train their immune system.
So you're 100% correct. This is what I'm talking about hygiene hypothesis, which says कि अगर आपने बच्चे को बचपन में उस चीज़ से एक्सपोज कर दिया तो वो उसके प्रति इम्यूनिटी डेवलप कर लेंगे. इफ़ यू लेट देम प्ले इन द सैंड दे विल बी एक्सपोज टू मल्टीपल फैक्टर्स एंड दे विल हैव इम्यूनिटी अगेंस्ट इट. As opposed to you keeping them in a very very clean environment, over sanitized environment, in a single room setting. So what happens is your immune system is not trained to fight any infection. So later in life they tend to have more allergies.
ये वाली प्रॉब्लम आई थिंक हम लोग डे टू डे प्रैक्टिस में भी देखते हैं. जो गांव के लोग आते हैं हु आर ओपन एंड जो कि फील्ड्स में पले बड़े हैं, गाय भैंसों के बीच में पले बड़े हैं, उन लोग को नहीं होती हैं एलर्जीज.
हाँ, उनमें बहुत कम होती है, बहुत कम. सो एलर्जी लाइक वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इज एन अर्बन प्रॉब्लम. इनिशियली इट वाज इन डेवलप्ड वर्ल्ड. Now, since India has been moving forward towards urbanization, we are seeing a lot of this allergy trend coming in urban cities.
So थोड़ा बहुत बच्चों को फ्री छोड़ना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल छोड़ना चाहिए, बिल्कुल छोड़ना चाहिए.
ठीक है.
Let them play.
Let kids be kids. So what are the signs and symptoms of allergy? एलर्जी के पेशेंट को क्या लक्षण रहेंगे मैम?
So डॉक्टर अनुपम, पहले हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा दैट इन एलर्जी वी हैव टू बी वेरी स्पेसिफिक. हम किस ऑर्गन के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं?
जी.
सो इफ़ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्किन, इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी इचिंग, रेडनेस, यू विल हैव दोज हाइव्स विच यू सी रेड स्पॉट्स ऑल ओवर योर बॉडी. Then if we talk about food allergy, you can have a very severe condition known as anaphylaxis, where you have difficulty in breathing and you will have sudden drop of blood pressure. So then when we talk about respiratory allergies, if we talk about nose, then we will have itching, watery discharge, rhinorrhea, we'll have patient continuously sneezing. And when we talk about lungs, which is asthma, then we are going to have wheezing. The child or an adult is going to say there's chest tightness, they are not able to breathe. At the same point of time they will have cough. So depending on what organ is involved, you will have different signs and different symptoms.
तो अगर स्किन एलर्जी हुई तो रेड स्पॉट्स, खुजली, ड्राइनेस, सूखा पानी, ये सब प्रॉब्लम्स रहेंगी. अगर फूड एलर्जी होती है तो कुछ भी चीज़ जिससे एलर्जिक है, आप उसको खाने के बाद आपका ब्लड प्रेशर ड्रॉप हो सकता है, सांस चढ़ सकता है, ये प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकती हैं. अगर एलर्जिक राइनाइटिस है तो आपने कहा छींके आना, नाक बहना, नाक में खुजली होना, ये सब इश्यूज़ रहते हैं. नाक बंद होना भी आई गेस. और अगर आपको फेफड़े की एलर्जी है, अस्थमा है, दमा है, तो सांस चढ़ना,
खांसी आना, यस, कॉफ वेरिएंट अस्थमा, एंड चेस्ट टाइटनेस,
और छाती में भारीपन, चेस्ट टाइटनेस, ये सब हो सकता है. बहुत लोगों को दूध पीने के बाद या एग खाने के बाद वो लोग कहते हैं कि हमें सूट नहीं होता. क्या ये एलर्जी है?
जब हम फूड एलर्जी की बात करते हैं तो हमें बहुत ज़रूरी है ये समझना दैट फूड एलर्जी एंड फूड इंटॉलरेंस आर वेरी डिफरेंट. So food allergy matlab it's an immune system reaction which can be very severe. Sometimes it can be life threatening also.
Okay.
Like so it's very interesting that 90% of food allergies are going to be caused by just 8 food products, which is your milk, egg, soya, peanut, tree nut, fish, wheat and shellfish. So 80 to 90% of true food allergies are only and only caused by these 8 products. Very very rarely you can have a true allergic, that is immune reaction to any other food product.
In then West there's a very popular allergy variant which is peanut allergy. I'm yet to see a patient in India of peanut allergy, but West में बहुत सारे food products पे लिखा रहेगा contains peanut, can be allergic. So ये peanut उन 8 फूड आइटम्स की लिस्ट में नहीं आता.
इंडिया में आता है, बट इंडिया के अंदर ट्रू फूड एलर्जी इन इटसेल्फ इज़ वेरी लेस. So we are very blessed with our dietary habits that we see very little or almost negligible prevalence of true food allergies. But on the other hand, we see a lot of food intolerance. That means your body is not able to digest a particular form of food. So it is not an immune reaction. And when we talk about intolerance, you are going to have only GI effects, that you can have bloating, you can have acidity, you can have diarrhea, you can have stomach pain. But that is not allergy, that is intolerance.
Yes.
So it could be because your body does not have a certain enzyme to process certain protein, or it's because your body in itself is not able to digest that particular food.
Yes.
So that is intolerance. So every intolerant patient does not have to worry about they being allergic.
Yes.
Because allergy, then you will have to do complete avoidance. But
Yes.
if you are just intolerant to a food, maybe overcooking can kill that protein, completely denature it, and you are free to eat. So a lot of patients or a lot of people will come to you and they'll say that if I eat raw egg, I have a problem.
In the form of bakery,
In
cake.
Yes, but if they cook the egg, they are
Boiled.
okay with it.
Yeah, so
That's
boiled
because-
egg basically has a very least allergy potential, but the raw form of egg can be allergic to many people.
Correct. That's because when you are cooking or when you're boiling the food, you're changing the protein.
Yes.
So those who are intolerant to that particular protein then become tolerant because that protein is completely changed.
Yes.
So in India, we see a lot of intolerance, but we very rarely see true food allergies, including peanut.
Okay. So what are the food allergies commonly that we see in India? Let's come to that. Since you have said that it's very rare in India, what are actual food allergies that we see?
So wheat allergy in India is one thing I would say is common.
Okay.
Secondly, in population which is non-vegetarian, we see shellfish allergy.
Okay.
That is also common.
So wheat allergy, is it the same as celiac disease or gluten sensitivity that
Again,
people say?
celiac disease falls in the category of food intolerance,
Okay.
and wheat allergy per se is true food allergy.
Yeah. So how does food allergy manifest? We have already talked about how food intolerance manifests. Food allergy के क्या signs and symptoms रहेंगे?
Food allergy, so there's a very big myth that in food allergy, little amount is not a problem.
Yeah.
But if you are actually truly allergic to any food, let's say peanut, let's say wheat, then even a very trace amount
Mm-hmm.
can give you a severe reaction.
Okay.
So severe reactions in the form of a term known as anaphylaxis, in which you can have sudden difficulty in breathing. Your larynx and your respiratory system will swell up,
Yeah.
where you will have difficulty breathing.
So is
Your
it a
BP
life-threatening condition?
Yes, it is a life-threatening condition. So when you diagnose a patient with having a true food allergy, they are supposed to carry an injection with them all the time, which is known as an EpiPen or an epinephrine injection. So that the moment they get an acute reaction, they are supposed to auto-inject themselves with that medicine.
So the whole story of anaphylaxis looks quite scary to
Yes.
somebody who is not into the field. But let me tell our viewers that it's very rare.
It's very rare,
बहुत
yes.
कम लोगों को एनाफ्लेक्सिस होता है. सुनने में बहुत डरावना लगता है बट होता बहुत कम लोगों को.
Correct.
तो आपने डायग्नोसिस की बात की कि एलर्जी को हम डायग्नोस कर देते हैं और अगर डायग्नोसिस बन जाए तो फिर वो एलर्जी का पार्टिकल उस बंदे को अवॉइड करना चाहिए क्योंकि वो चीज़ उसके लिए सीवियर लाइफ थ्रेटनिंग कॉम्प्लिकेशन कॉज कर सकती है. हाउ डू वी डायग्नोस एलर्जी? How do I know whether I'm allergic to this particular thing or this particular thing? Suppose I'm having repeated sneezing on waking up. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं सुबह उठता हूँ, मेरी नाक बहती है, मेरे को छींकें आती हैं, मेरे से AC नहीं टॉलरेट होता है, मेरे से बंद कमरा नहीं टॉलरेट होता है, या मैं किसी होटल में जाता हूँ, वहाँ की जो बेड शीट्स हैं उनके ऊपर लेटने के बाद मेरे को छींकें आनी चालू हो जाती हैं. तो ये सारे सिम्टम्स जो हैं वो हैं. बट हाउ डू वी नो कि किस एजेंट से, व्हाट इज़ द ऑफेंडिंग एजेंट विच इज़ पर्टिकुलरली कॉजिंग एलर्जी टू यू एंड व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स दैट वी कैन
So,
टेक?
Anupam, you and me, we are both ENT surgeons.
Yes.
I think a lot of our patients come with nasal complaints,
Yes.
which is known as allergic rhinitis. So, their complaints are exactly what you described, that they'll come with classic sneezing. They'll fall in two categories. Either it's going to be throughout the year, which
Yes.
is called as a perennial allergy, कि वो साल भर रहता है. That means जो offending agent है, जिस चीज़ से वो allergic है वो भी साल भर रहता है. The second variety is what we call a seasonal allergy.
Yes.
So seasonal allergy will come in bouts. In our northern part of the country, especially in Rajasthan, we see a peak which will happen somewhere around starting of March and will stay in early May.
Yes.
And the second peak we'll see around October to December. So इसको हम seasonal allergic rhinitis कहते हैं. अब बात करें कि कैसे पता चलेगा which is what. So if the patient is complaining that he is having symptoms throughout the year, we'll think of an allergen which is there throughout the year.
Yes.
But if the patient is saying that no, it's very seasonal, it'll come in March, go in May, it'll come in October, go in December, we'll think of seasonal. So seasonal will fall in the category of something which is known as a pollen allergy.
Okay.
A pollen allergy is basically nothing but the flowering season of trees, of grasses, of weeds. So when they start to flower, they have pollens which will then be in the air. And that pollen will go into your nose, into your lungs and will start having an allergy.
जी.
On the other side, when you have a particular year-long allergy, which is known as a perennial allergy, you will think of something which is more indoors, which is there inside the house, because that's there 24/7. So we have a very, very common allergen which is known as house dust mite.
Yes.
So I have to specify this here that house dust, लोग कहते हैं मुझे धूल से एलर्जी है. जैसे ही धूला उड़ता है मैं झाड़ू लगाती हूँ, I start to sneeze. So we have to understand that धूल पर से is not the problem. It is the house dust mite. धूल के अंदर एक छोटा सा कीड़ा होता है which is not visible in your naked eye. That is known as a house dust mite. So that dust mite settles, but when you start mopping or when you start sweeping, the dust particles then suspend themselves in the air. And that's when you inhale them into your nose and into your lungs and you start having a response.
So is vacuum cleaning a better option?
Yes. Also, pocha before jhadu is a better option.
Okay.
So if you mop before you sweep, you tend to not let it aerosolize into the air.
Okay.
So every patient who comes with us with allergy, saying that they are having a dust mite allergy when we diagnose, and that's when I'm going to come to your question of how do you diagnose. We have to tell them certain measures. So these are known as environmental measures, where we tell them what all can they do in their daily habits to prevent having an exposure.
Yes.
Now coming to how you said, how do we diagnose? So there's one very single important thing which is there when you have to diagnose a patient of allergy, that is history. You have to listen to what they are saying, because 90% of the times they themselves will end up telling you what is the problem.
Yes.
Like I said, if they're saying it's a year long, we will think of something inside the house. So once we've taken a detailed history, we do something known as an allergy testing, which is known as a skin prick test. And it's a not painful test. कोई दर्द नहीं होता उस टेस्ट में. In that test, we expose the patient's arm or the back with certain allergens. We put a drop of that, we scratch it, and we see whether you are reacting to it or not.
Okay.
So I have a kit with me. I am frequently using a product from Allcure Pharma, which is a very reputed company, and they make very good quality, very potent antigens.
Yes.
Antigens matlab any product which is an allergen.
Yeah.
So you use those antigens, you use those allergens, you put them on the skin, you scratch it, and you see whether you're reacting to it or not. So if you want, I can show you some of these products.
Yes, definitely. So you said it is non-painful.
Yes.
It's non-harmful also, I assume?
Yes. There is practically no side effect, or there is no reaction that will happen to a patient on doing a skin prick test. Only thing is you have to be careful that you are off allergic medications before you are doing this test.
So allergic skin prick test जो आप बता रहे हो कि स्किन पे मल्टीपल ड्रॉप्स लगा के और फिर उसको प्रिक करके हम स्किन के अंदर टेस्ट करते हैं, ना तो इसमें दर्द होता है और ना ही इसके कोई सीवियर साइड इफेक्ट्स हैं.
Nothing. And the reactions that will come on the skin will go after 10 to 15 minutes.
तो जो रिएक्शन भी आएगा वो भी टेम्पररी रहेगा. That's very reassuring. Let's see you do it.
So I would like to just show how this is done. So this is just a sample kit that I have from Allcure Pharma. In that we have various antigens. So these are the antigens, and so this is a house dust mite. We have plants, we have pollens, we have certain animals like cat, dog, cockroach that you can be allergic to. And what we do is we put this on the skin and then we prick it. And once we wait for 10 to 15 minutes, if we see a reaction, then we know that the patient is sensitized.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is a simple test that can be done in a clinic setting. As you no machinery, no significant equipment required.
No, not at all. And plus, it's affordable.
Yes.
It is affordable as opposed to doing blood testing, which is a second form of doing a testing when we want to diagnose a patient of allergy as to what he or she is allergic to.
So that can be offered to somebody who is anxious or a child who is not allowing you to do this skin prick test.
Yes, but you have to understand that blood test is less sensitive as opposed to skin prick test. So if I have to choose which test to do, I would always prefer a skin testing over a blood testing.
It's an inferior form of testing, the blood test.
Yes, because you tend to have a lot of something known as a cross reactivity.
Yeah.
So the sensitivity of the test goes down. So for us to diagnose which is actually the culprit agent causing allergy becomes a problem. So when we do a skin prick testing, it is more reassuring. It is more reassuring for the patients also that they see the reaction and they know they are allergic or sensitized to this.
Okay. So skin prick test is the gold standard, I would say. The best form of allergy test that is available right now in the market.
Yes, but I would also say that blood allergy testing is needed when you have to confirm and quantify the amount of allergy you have.
Okay.
So when we are going to progress to treating that patient of allergy, we have to also do a blood test.
Okay.
But blood test we'll do very specifically. So we know that you are sensitized to this particular house dust mite, let's say, on your skin prick testing. Then we will go ahead and do blood testing for house dust mites.
Okay. तो हमने एलर्जी के डायग्नोसिस की बात कर ली. अब बात करते हैं एलर्जी के ट्रीटमेंट के बारे में. तो एलर्जी सबसे जो कॉमन हम लोग एलर्जी देखते हैं वो एलर्जिक राइनाइटिस की प्रॉब्लम है, नाक की और दमे की एलर्जी. तो इसके बारे में बात करते हैं एक बार. इसको ट्रीटमेंट अपन कैसे दे सकते हैं? हाउ डू वी ट्रीट नेज़ल एलर्जीज और रेस्पिरेटरी एलर्जीज?
So, Dr. Anupam, we have to first categorize the severity of allergy. If
Yes.
you're mildly allergic, you will do very well with just environmental measures.
Avoidance measures.
Avoidance measures that you can do certain things to prevent an exposure. But if you have a moderate category or moderate severity, then you will do good with certain medicines.
Okay.
That you have a seasonal allergy, you take medicines for those particular seasons, you will be okay. Then the last is when you have a very severe form of allergy which is bothering you throughout the year. For that we have a treatment which is known as immunotherapy, which is allergen immunotherapy.
Okay.
That is nothing but vaccine. So those are known as allergy shots, very popularly called so in Western world. That is nothing but very, very slow introduction of the same allergen into your body such that your body develops immunity towards it. So this
in
is
short,
nothing
like-
but a vaccine.
So just giving slow exposure to your security systems to let them know that this particular particle is not a burglar, it's not a thief, and this is something
friend.
you need. Yes. You need something you need not react to
Absolutely.
in the way you are doing.
Yes.
So calming down your immune system.
Yes.
So this
the only
must
thing
be
is
yeah.
it takes the treatment for immunotherapy spans about 2.5 to 3 years, so that the immune system is completely regulated and trained in such a way
Yeah.
that they then stop reacting to that particular allergen.
And does this treatment has any side effects?
No, so this treatment, if done properly with proper guidance, with proper diagnosis,
Yeah.
does not have any side effect.
Wonderful.
So once when we start, we have some very mild reactions, but overall, if done properly, it does not have any side effect.
And what about other forms of allergy? So many people come to us saying that they have allergy towards a particular drug, or they are allergic towards one of their pets. So what about these? Are they a different spectrum? Are they a different form of allergy?
So I will break this question. First, let's talk about pet allergy.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially in urban population, we tend to have cats and dogs at home, right? We think that if we don't have a cat or if we don't have a dog at home, we are probably not sensitized. But that's not true, because what happens is maybe I have a cat at home. So
Yeah.
the cat dander, the fur that is shed from the cat will stick to my clothes. And when I go to an office or I go to a hospital and I come in contact with you, you will probably have that exposure and be sensitized. So that does not mean that if you don't have a cat at home, you are not sensitized. But the moment you get one, you can have a reaction.
So that ways everybody is exposed to cats and dogs then?
In a way, yes.
Okay. So thanks to the cats and dogs lovers, everybody is exposed to their fur and their allergens.
Yes.
So anybody can develop an allergy to them. So Dr. Priyanshi, let's come to the second part of the question now. What about drug allergy?
So first thing I would like to clarify is not every form of drug allergy is lethal or fatal.
Mm-hmm.
There are adverse drug reactions. That means your
Yeah.
body will react to that drug differently.
Yes,
You
yes.
might have had black itching rashes, or you might have had certain swellings or redness in your skin, and that can happen every time you get exposed to the drug. Second thing I want to talk in drug allergy is that a lot of people come to us and tell us they have been taking one particular drug for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then suddenly one day they have an allergy to that drug.
Yes.
Is that even possible? Yes, it is. So you can be not allergic to that drug for a very long time, but
Yeah.
someday you might develop an allergy to the drug.
Yeah.
Secondly, a lot of drugs have a dose dependent reaction.
Mm-hmm.
For example, a very common drug we take every day like paracetamol.
Yeah.
So low doses of paracetamol might not give you a reaction. But
Yes.
let's say if you take a high dose of paracetamol, you can have a reaction.
Ji.
And diagnosing drug allergy, the best way to do it is history. If the patient says they've had a reaction, you have to believe them. And if you can give an alternate form of medicine, you prescribe. If not, then there is a treatment and there's a diagnosis that we can do, where we do something known as drug testing. And if the patient has absolutely no alternate form of medicine available for that, then we do something known as desensitization.
Okay. So there is a method and a way out for everybody.
Absolutely.
Even if you are allergic to a particular drug, we have ways out. We can switch to an alternate drug, और वो भी काम नहीं करा तो we can have desensitization.
Diagnose what sort of allergy and then go and desensitize.
I think it's a very important message for our viewers here that if you have a side effect or a problem or an allergy with a particular drug, do discuss with your prescribing doctor and maintain the chart that,
Absolutely.
that this drug causes this particular reaction to you, so that in future when you go to a particular doctor, they know that इस particular drug से आपको allergy हो सकती है and this particular drug can cause this particular side effect to you.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a very important message for our viewers here. So let's come to the next part of the podcast now. And I would say there are some other systems of medicine, there are some other methods of medicine other than allopathy, like homeopathy, for example, which claim excellent results in allergy treatment.
Homeopathy has been treating allergy since a very long time.
Yeah.
And they claim to be giving very good results also in allergy.
Yes. Yes.
So for all we know, it could be just practicing allergen immunotherapy since a very long time.
Yes.
Since I'm not an expert, I cannot comment on what they give.
Yes.
But such form of
Such is your opinion that I think and I agree that they have been doing immunotherapy, and considering that they don't have too many side effects with their form of therapy, I think homeopathy is like allergen immunotherapy in itself.
Absolutely.
So
Could be possible.
yeah. So let's come to some questions and answers that we have garnered from our viewers over time. And I'll be just shooting those questions to you. आपको जो भी questions का आंसर देना हो, जैसे भी देना हो, you are most welcome. Let's hear it for our viewers here. So, does an early exposure to a particular allergen prevent allergies? अगर मैं किसी particular substance से, किसी particular allergen से बचपन में ही expose हो गया हूँ, तो क्या इस चीज़ की संभावना कम हो जाती है कि मेरे को आगे जाके एलर्जी होगी?
Very interesting fact. So recently in 2015 we have two very famous, which practically changed how you've practiced allergy. Very important studies. One is known as a LEAP trial, and the second is a EAT study. What they said was that initially what we were practicing in allergy, that if you're allergic to something or you have a tendency of being allergic to something, you avoid it.
Yeah.
For example, peanut. If you were thinking that your parents have been peanut allergic, you tend to avoid it till the age of 5. But they said that early introduction of food like peanut in your diet, like milk in your diet, will eventually sensitize your immune system and develop tolerance. So, yes, early introduction of certain food products will help you prevent developing allergy.
So अगर मेरे को एलर्जी है किसी पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट से, तो इसका ये अर्थ नहीं है कि मैं अपने बच्चों को उस पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट से एक्सपोज ना होने दूँ.
Correct.
Is that fine?
Yes.
Done. So there are some allergies that are known to develop like after eating a particular fruit. Let's say some people complain of burning and itching in their throat after eating a particular fruit, especially citrus fruits. हमारे अभी भी कुछ कम्युनिटीज़ में फेमस है कि खट्टा खाने के बाद गला ख़राब हो जाता है. तो what is this? Just walk us through it.
So there is a phenomena, or there's something known as oral allergy syndrome.
Okay.
So oral allergy syndrome is the moment you eat a kiwi or a strawberry or any citrus fruit, you tend to have swelling and redness and itching in your throat. And we tend to think that, okay, we might be allergic to that particular fruit or that particular vegetable.
Yeah.
But in fact, what happens is something known as cross-sensitization. You are actually sensitized and allergic to a plant or a pollen. Most commonly, it is a birch pollen.
Okay.
So you are actually sensitized to that, but because the plants and the vegetables are cross-reacting, you tend to have symptoms when you are eating these fruits.
So cross-reacting means the protein structure of these fruits is similar to
Similar.
birch plant.
Correct.
And that is why body gives sort of some minor allergic symptoms that are not exactly allergic, but there is some symptom on eating that particular fruit.
Correct. So basically, you're sensitized or you're allergic to a particular pollen, like a birch pollen, but your body reacts to a fruit because they are essentially same in their protein nature.
जी.
So अगर हम birch allergy को या हम pollen allergy को ठीक करेंगे, we will be able to treat oral allergy syndrome.
Okay. So the problem is elsewhere, but we need to shoot somebody else.
Correct.
Done. So there's a very popular conception, स्पेशली कुछ कम्युनिटीज़ में बहुत पॉपुलर है कि अगर इन्हेलर्स आपने स्टार्ट कर दिए या नेज़ल स्प्रेज आपने स्टार्ट कर दिए एलर्जी के लिए, तो इसका एडिक्शन हो जाता है, इसकी आदत पड़ जाती है.
Firstly, I would like to tell you one thing, that the treatment of allergic rhinitis in our guidelines, they say that intranasal steroid spray is the first line and is the best treatment.
जी.
So when we have to consider and when we have to counsel a patient that you have to take a steroid nasal spray, it's very difficult because the word steroid scares them.
Yeah.
But I have to tell them, and I want to tell everybody here, that if you take one tablet of steroid, let's say it is 8 milligram, the spray it's only 50 microgram. So it is 1000 the dose, and then only 1% of it is going inside the body. The rest is acting inside the nose. So practically using a spray for an entire year is actually equivalent to taking one single tablet.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be phobic or stressed about taking a steroid spray in your nose for such a long duration.
I think that's a very important message because some people are really scared about steroid sprays, especially parents.
But they are absolutely safe.
Yeah,
and they are very, very effective.
Sprays to their kids. So I think this needs to be killed, this notion right here, and this needs to be nipped in the bud that steroid sprays are absolutely safe.
Absolutely
and
safe.
If you in case develop any problem, go and discuss with your doctor.
I agree.
What about this conception that these particular sprays and inhalers are addictive in nature?
They are not addictive at all. In fact, steroid is the only drug which is altering the basic mechanism of action of allergy.
Yeah.
And giving them in low doses and giving them at a place where they are supposed to reach, like in the nose if you're giving a spray, in the lungs if you're giving an inhaler, the long term effect is an additive effect, and that is when you can actually alter the disease course.
जी. तो बहुत टाइम तक लेने के बाद ही इफेक्ट आना स्टार्ट होगा.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
what I
Yes.
make of it.
So they are not treating the symptom.
जी.
They are actually treating the problem.
Yeah.
So if you take a paracetamol, you're treating fever.
जी.
But the fever which is happening secondary to malaria, you'll have to actually give a drug for malaria. So
Exactly.
a steroid per se is basically like a drug you give for malaria. And if any other drug, for example, you take a Monterel C or you take a antihistamine, they are actually treating the symptom.
जी.
So for immediate relief, you are supposed to do a symptomatic relief by taking medicines, but steroid sprays or steroid inhalers are very safe and they will alter the disease course.
जी. I get your point. And I think it's a very important message for everybody out there that these sprays are absolutely safe. They are non-addictive in nature.
Yes.
We are not brand ambassadors to any sprays, but let us be very clear that you need not be worried about them.
Absolutely.
As doctors, we can testify to it that these sprays are absolutely safe for you. So the next question. Some people are concerned about the rising global temperatures. Let's say जो global warming हो रही है या increased pollution levels हो रहे हैं, pollution हो रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा एयर क्वालिटी ख़राब हो रही है, AQI ख़राब हो रही है, हम उसकी बात करते हैं. तो क्या इन चीज़ों का भी कोई कंट्रीब्यूशन है एलर्जी में?
बिल्कुल है. So we have seen that with climate change
जी.
and with rising air pollution, especially diesel exhaust fumes,
जी.
they are tremendously contributing towards the rise of allergy. And there are several studies which have been done that why is this happening. So if I give you an example for pollen, because of the changing seasons, the antigenicity or the strength of causing allergy of a pollen is increasing. Your pollen calendar is changing. Pollen calendar is nothing but a calendar which is maintained in a particular geographical location where you will have a particular time in an year where that particular plant will flower.
जी.
So that because of the change in climate, the pollen calendars are changing. So let's say if that particular plant was supposed to flower in the month of March and April, it's prolonging till the month of June and July.
जी.
So the allergy which was supposed to be seasonal is now becoming perennial.
Interesting. So most of the allergies that we see in our part of the world, जहाँ पे मैं practice कर रहा हूँ, especially we see from a plant called Holoptilia,
Right.
बंदर की रोटी. So what do you say about this? What is the proper treatment for these plants? Most of the patients will take some tablets here and there to just get rid of it seasonally, but now I see it's just getting prolonged. More and more people are getting affected till the season of May, June. Originally this plant was supposed to flower in March and April.
Correct.
That was the
Correct.
time.
Or
But-
October, December.
Yeah. So the seasonal change time that particularly causes these allergies, the October, November time or the March, April time in our part of the world. So, but now these symptoms are almost for some people prolonging till May, June, July. And before you realize it, the problem has become perennial. So, how do you particularly treat this particular problem, since we have a lot of patients, a lot of people dealing with this?
Okay, so Holoptilia, like you said, is bandar ki roti. That is one plant which is very, very prevalent in northern part of the Rajasthan.
Ji.
And we have immunotherapy against that particular plant. Second, how do you diagnose? Again, I said skin prick testing. You
Ji.
test, and if you are reacting, you know you are allergic to that particular plant, and then that's when you start an immunotherapy.
Yeah.
But more than Holoptilia, what we see in respiratory allergies is something known as a house dust mite.
Ji.
So house dust mite is essentially where 80% of severe allergies are lying.
Ji.
And there is very effective treatment available in the form of immunotherapies against house dust mites.
Ji.
And once you start an immunotherapy, you see that the patients become asymptomatic eventually over a long course of time. But the severity of symptom reduces immediately.
Yeah. So it's always a good idea to consider immunotherapy, especially for these kind of problems, जहाँ पे आपकी प्रॉब्लम भी लंबी चल रही है और उसकी सिवियरिटी भी ज़्यादा है.
And the plant is not going to go away. The dust
Exactly.
mites are not going to go away. So if
Yeah.
you're severely reacting, if you're severely allergic, you have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because medicines can control an acute phase.
जी.
But to completely modify and alter a problem from its grassroots level, you have to alter the basic pathology of the problem. And that is immunotherapy.
Yeah. So wonderful message put across. Last question for the podcast. What about sunlight exposure? Does sunlight exposure alters your immunity pathway or alters your allergy predisposition? जो लोग धूप में ज़्यादा रहते हैं, क्या उनको एलर्जी होने की संभावना कम हो जाती है?
I will put it in a different way.
Yeah.
So, most common causes of allergies are dust mites,
जी.
they are fungus, they are damp environments. So, once you let the sunlight in, once you have a very ventilated room, the dust mites can go away. The fungus can go away. So these are the things that we tell the patient when we are telling them how to prevent or do an environmental measure.
Yeah.
That you can use a HEPA filter, you can use an air purifier if you are pollen allergic. You should first mop and then sweep. Third, you can use certain acaricides which are like insecticides against house dust mites, and sunlight. So well ventilated, well lit room will go a long way in preventing allergies.
I remember during my stay at AIIMS, there was a particular time when I was very allergic. There was a time when I used to cough day in and day out. And because of the change in my position when I became a PG resident from an MBBS student, my symptoms suddenly resolved. And that was the time I realized that since my room had changed, so my room had particular form of fungus growing in one particular part of the room because of the dampening, and then just a changing room was all I needed to resolve my symptoms.
Yes, so we undermine the importance of environment when we talk about allergy. Allergy is nothing but at a ground level a genetic and an environmental interaction.
जी.
So if you change an environment, you can prevent. Definitely you can't do anything about your tendency of having an allergy. But by changing an environment, by altering it, you can go a long way in preventing allergy.
I think that's a wonderful way to close the podcast. You have closed it at the right high. So let's thank all the viewers who have seen this video till the end. And thank you, Dr. Priyanshi,
Thank you.
for joining in. It was a very enlightening podcast. And I would say we have put across many points. बहुत सारे points ऐसे हैं जो कि लोगों के काम के हैं, and I hope we have put some value to your lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.